Welcome! In this section, we will cover retirement eligibility and how to calculate your retirement allowance. Here are the eligibility requirements for a normal service retirement. You can be age 55 or older with at least 30 years of city service, or age 60 or older with at least 10 years of continuous service, or you can be age 70 or older regardless of the length of your city service. Lacers also offers an early service retirement option, and here are the eligibility requirements for this reduced allowance. You can be age 55 or older with at least 10 years of continuous service, or you can be younger than age 55 with at least 30 years of city service. As a refresher, continuous service is determined by a break in city service for not more than 3 years. And as you saw in the previous slides, in some cases, you need a specific amount of continuous service in order to be eligible to retire. Just know that if you ever leave city service and your break is more than 3 years, Lacers will not add your service together. You can also meet this requirement at any point in your city career, as long as you work for at least 5 continuous years. Lacers will calculate your retirement allowance based on your final compensation, your total service credit, and the Lacers Tier 1 retirement factor of 2.16%. It's important to note that those applying for early retirement should be aware that an early retirement reduction factor will also be used in the calculation and will be based on their age. Final compensation, or final average monthly compensation, is your highest gross salary for 12 consecutive months. In most cases, this is your last 12 months of employment with the city. However, this may or may not always be the case. For example, if you worked as an emergency appointment for a time, or even if you worked in a higher classification and decided to revert back, Lacers will use your highest salary to determine your retirement benefit. If you are not at the same salary for 12 consecutive months, Lacers will use an average. To determine your monthly salary using your biweekly amount, multiply the gross amount by 2.175. To determine what parts of your salary and bonuses are pensionable, please refer to your MOU or contact your employing department's Human Resources Division. Not all bonuses are included in your retirement allowance calculation. Using the information we just discussed, here is how you will calculate your retirement allowance. Take your final compensation times your service credit times the retirement factor of 2.16%, and, if applicable, times your early retirement reduction factor, and that will equal your monthly retirement allowance. Here is an overview of the early reduction factors based on age. Please see page 37 of the summary plan description for a complete list. Reduction factors are calculated into quarter years. For example, there is a certain reduction factor if you are age 48 and a half or 57 and a quarter. Using this chart, those who choose to file early retirement must add the corresponding reduction factor into their calculation. This is what the formula translates to in dollars and cents. For the purposes of this example, we have an employee who is age 65 and an employee who is aged 55. They have the same final compensation of $4,000 and the same years of service credit of 20.25. This example shows the difference between a service and an early retirement. For a service retirement, the monthly benefit would be $1,749.60. For an early retirement, with a reduction factor of 0.9250, the monthly benefit would be $1,749. $618.38. To determine what percentage of your salary you'll receive in retirement, multiply your service credit by the retirement factor. Many LACERS members aim for about 30 years of service credit, giving them about 65% of their salary. If you're curious to know how long it takes to get 100% of your final compensation, you'd have to work a little more than 46 years to get this. And just note, LACERS will never go above 100% of your final compensation. The three variables that will have an impact on your retirement allowance are the timing of your retirement, early versus normal, your service credit. For every year that you work for the city, you add 2.16% to your percentage of final compensation you'll receive in retirement. And last but not least, your final compensation. The more you make while employed by the city, the more you'll receive in retirement. You can use your MyLacers account to run an estimate for yourself at any point. It'll let you know when you're eligible to receive benefits, and once you generate an estimate, it's saved to your account in the portal, which means you can refer to it later, and if you have a question about what you see on your estimate, a retirement counselor will be able to view what you generated. Should you have any questions about the information entered, hover over the question mark right next to that section. If you prefer, you can do retirement estimates by hand. Please refer to the previous slides in the section to go over the formula. In the event you become disabled as an active member, you may be eligible for a disability retirement. Please note that your disabling condition does not have to be job-related, but it must prevent you from performing your regular job duties. LACERS offers a loan program for eligible disability retirement applicants to help with finances while your application is being processed. If you need additional information about a disability retirement, please contact a LACERS disability counselor. Your retirement allowance is a lifetime benefit. To better illustrate this, here we have a sample city employee named Angelina. At age 60, Angelina retires and starts collecting her retirement allowance. The purple bar, which represents her own contributions, lasts her in this case until about age 72. At that point, even though Angelina's own contributions have run out, she is still entitled to her same monthly check for the rest of her life, which in this case is until age 82 when she eventually passes away. So what ensures this lifetime benefit? When we look at this chart, we see the three sources of funds that are used for Angelina's retirement allowance. It's a mixture of her own contributions, the city's contributions, and the LACERS investment returns. Your contributions typically last between 9 to 12 years. Once those funds are exhausted, the city's contributions and LACERS investment returns fund your retirement allowance for your lifetime. Have a question? You can always reach out to LACERS for assistance by phone or email. We look forward to hearing from you. There's even more to learn about your benefits. Watch other retirement topic videos on the official LACERS YouTube channel.